behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Palm Mash TV. Palm Mash TV.
Well, hello everybody, it's Paul Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining us. We got another great interview here, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, don't forget there's that subscribe button and the bell. Just make sure to click both of them. And anytime a new episode comes your way, you'll be notified. And as always, use the comment in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you there. And we'd love to hear from you on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Paul Mash TV. And feel free to follow us there. Send us an inbox, comment on the things you see. And if you have email, which I know you do, send us an email. It's paulmashtv, all one word, @gmail.com. And if you're a band or a solo artist, we'd love to hear from you there. But we'd love to hear from you if you're just simply a fan. So if you're just a fan and want to talk to us there, we'll be happy to do that. And we're going to recap all that I just said at the closing credits at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. In just a moment, we're going to have Nsane from Chicago, Illinois, a very talented artist, of course. And I think you're going to agree with that. And we'll be back in just a moment after this word from Smile World TV. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
The types of shows we're seeking. Let us help you share your creativity. For more information, email us at smilepublishing007@gmail.com, or you can visit our website, swtvgetyourchannel.now.site.
Okay, we're back here, and with us from Chicago, Illinois, we have Nsane. Thanks for joining us, Nsane.
Pleasure's all mine. Glad to be on your show, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being here. Why don't you start by telling us how you got to be an artist? As you know, everybody has their own story. Let's hear your story.
Okay, so basically, it's just by being around some of my peers. This goes back to places like Milan, Tennessee, Humboldt. I had family. I had a cousin that was a nice MC back in St. Louis. They called him Pam's son. He battled he battled Nelly and some of the St. Lunatics back in the day, and I heard he destroyed them. Basically, I wasn't old enough to get in the club that night, or I would have went. But so some of those events, artists from just different places, New York. Places that I've lived, my environment, and, just me listening to different music from different places, mostly underground. Like the Memphis rap back then was like one of my favorite things, the underground Chicago rap. And then, of course, me being, on the East Coast, you listen to a little bit of any, in the golden era, you were listening to all the East Coast rap. Anything that was on TV, you going grabbing CDs, and just pretty much a studier of the culture. And part of it was with me being a graffiti artist. That's how I got the name Nsane. I was a destructive graffiti artist at first. I didn't know there was a difference until I met my boy Stun One in St. Louis. He's the leader of KMS, Crazy Mass Skills is what we called it back then. But him, DJ Plasma, and my boy Task, they kind of took me under their wing and said, hey, stop the destructive stuff. There's a way to make money with this, and there's a way to do it legitly. So, I kind of, and they follow all 5 elements. So, to be around and down, graffiti wasn't all you were going to end up doing. You're going to end up ciphering a little bit. You're going to end up, DJing a little bit, maybe breakdance. And I touched most of the elements except for really DJing. I was you know, I'd hang out with the DJs in the booth or something, but I didn't really that wasn't really my thing.
Okay, well, that's quite a story, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing today, and hopefully you'll be around for a long time, man. Tell us about some of the mainstream artists, you know, like the artists that you know and love. I mean, that influenced you when you were growing up. We would love.
Okay. I had Nas was one of my favorite. Big L, you know, your typical, you know, Big Pun. I love Wu-Tang. But then I had, I used to keep my CDs in alphabetical order and coast to coast order. So I liked a lot of, I was kind of biased to the East Coast when that East Coast, West Coast nonsense was going on. But I actually, I liked a lot of cats from, from like the Bay Area. Spice One, I still listen to him this day. I like 3 Times Crazy. A lot of cats that people don't, when you say West Coast, they don't really just like, they don't really pay homage to those guys. You got your obvious, Pac and things like that. They were in my CD case as well. But, I always, any city I go to, I want to, or if I'm checking out, for example, I'm checking out Alabama, I want to find the most underground, gritty, grimiest, hit the pavement hard type cat to listen to. So, I listened to a lot of Cool Cake. He's actually younger than I am. I found that out, but he had an older mindset because the area. And I'm not afraid to say that because he lived in a rougher area of West Palm than I did, which, I was in the middle of it. I'm in the heart of it, 45th Street, but he lived downtown. The other side is Riviera. I got family on both sides of it. I go to both parts. I play dominoes downtown, and I go over to Riviera for the shows and the beach and all that good stuff. But I mean, you living in that environment and visiting is 2 different things. So I kind of, when he was putting out his mixtapes and things like that, I kind of, I'm a grown man, so I don't have a problem saying I looked up to somebody younger than me. I looked up to him and some of the other guys in West Palm as far as what they were doing with the music. Then, my crew influenced me. Guys in street fame. I mean, my little brother, Simba James, my little cousin, Rico Red, H2, my boy Smooth, they picked me up. Honestly, my cousin was just funny. He always looked at me as a business type, manager type, and as I get older, I see that, and I want to thank him for that on this show, thank you, cuz. But he, one day we were doing, because I was always on the phone setting up something, but I want to be on stage too. But they end up doing the show, and I end up over there with the promoters getting, talking about something else. So, one day he was like, "You want to be our manager?" And I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to be no manager." But these guys, these are some of the guys that inspired me, another group out of Jackson, Tennessee, they were called Flightline Entertainment, and they call themselves Small Town Music. Matt Goo and his guys, and then there was another group out of Mountain, Tennessee, ODCF. They kind of inspired some things too. It's because they, I seen them do it when people, if they came to the South and even wanted to deal with anybody in the South, they weren't coming to them little towns. So I've seen these guys have to grind to even get respect in their own, within their own circumference and try to branch out somewhere. So, I like to say that, far as far as, you know, some of the, we always say we one of the first labels out of that area, but we really wasn't. We kind of took off, you know, years later, you know, of this time. Yeah, we Street Fame and Flatliners and all that. They they're one of the biggest things in the county of this time, but they're not. We can't be the first because ODCF, we all came up under them. You know, they might not have done. I'm not gonna say they hadn't done as much. I think some of them cats got signed to some places or something, but yeah, they just grew up and got away from it quicker than what we did. So, you know, I gotta pay homage to the cats that were on the forefront before we even started. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's basically my influences right there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like you mentioned, the Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, that's a main influence on a lot of the hip hop artists, and I can definitely see your influences on the song we're about to play in a couple of minutes here. Before we get into that, tell us a little bit about where we can find you, because somebody might be watching this and say, I got to download Nsane's music. So where they go?
You can actually you can go on you can actually go to Spotify, Amazon. It's distributed through CD Baby, because DistroKid wasn't out back then. So when I got my rights back to that project from the label, I went ahead and got my distribution over there at CD Baby. Of course, it's on YouTube. You know, because you know, it's not that I'm really trying to sell it because it's an old project, but you know, if you want to buy it versus having to listen to it on YouTube, by all means do. But if not, I understand. The whole album's on YouTube. Mog Radio had it. I hadn't looked at it in a while, but Mog Radio had it on there. iHeartRadio, actually. There's different platforms. I honestly, if I want to find, I Google my own self and my album. And the find, you know, if I want to find all of it, or I'll go to CD Baby and find where all, because they change it. Sometimes they'll snatch out, okay, well, like for example, if Mog Radio is not doing enough numbers, or if they're, you know, if it's not enough traffic, or, you know, they don't see enough money coming into it to where they can you know, potentially send me a royalty check behind it, they'll pull, you know, and then they'll replace it with something more popular. Like, okay, well, bam, let's go over here to TikTok instead, you know, something like that. Yeah, that's basically where you can find me. You can also hit me up on, you know, if they're ever stuck, they can always hit me up, Nsane 187, or I'll say at Nsane 187. That's on Twitter. You can always hit me up there, tweet me, and I'll or you can look me up on I have an artist page, not as active as my Twitter, because usually my main profile, which is it has my government name and all that good stuff, I intermingle with people I know, you know, other artists, things like that. So the other Nsane page, it has music on there, but I mean, honestly, with Facebook, just your normal profile getting more traffic, I just roll with that, to be honest. So yeah, you can find Nsane on Facebook and Twitter. I don't have an Instagram or anything like that. I kind of limit my social media, and there's a few reasons behind that. I mean, yeah. But yeah, I try not to even be on it a whole lot, because I mean, I'm on it daily, but there's, you know, I try to cut back from it because it, you know, there's things that I could be doing more profitable.
Right. Yeah, I understand that, and I know everybody would love to get your music. So go to those streaming sites he just told you about, get his music, and go from there. And speaking of that, one of the songs we're going to do is actually on that album that's called Appetite of Destruction. And
Yes.
really awesome song. Is there a kind of a brief story about that, or a story on that?
Actually, not really a story. We just, I came up with the hook. I was in Alabama. I wrote the hook in Alabama, and I needed to finish the song up. And I was like, Appetite. I named the album Appetite of Destruction because most of the guys that I put on there, I felt like, okay, well, I got features on this joint. I'm signed to this little this indie label, and I wanted to go when I left and I went to my grandmother's house in Milan, Tennessee. I was like, all right, I'm gonna bring my guys in with, like if they want to, bring them on board with me, and anybody want to get on this last project to fulfill the contract can get on these tracks. And this one, I just had to have Smooth and H2 because that's who it started with. We had a group back in the day, EP, called Kenosis. They had about 5 songs, and I'm to blame because I had all my verses, I had all the songs, but they couldn't wait. They had to drop it with just the songs we had because I was always out of town. I'm the what do you call them in office terms? We used to say floater. Somebody that didn't have a desk. And they always had to go borrow somebody else's desk when they were out or something. Yeah, the floater. So I was the floater always because, 1 minute oh, well, he's in Alabama. Next minute, oh, he went back to New York. Oh, well, he's back in Florida. He's in Tennessee now, but he's only going to be here for 2 days. All right, well, we can try to catch up with each other and record. But I had to do this because I was like, who can demolish this track? Who can really get on some stuff like this with me and would want to? And it was nobody better than my Jay Smooth and my boy H2, man. And I love this track to this day because I feel like, and I even did it in the structure that we would normally do. It's not all. I used to always anchor the songs. Like I always get like last verse. I love last verse for some reason, but and I just, matter of fact, our first song I was last verse. So I was like, you know what, I want to do this last. I want to be the last verse on this one, and I want my boy Smooth to go in front of me because he amps me up. And H2 is a great starter. He gets your attention. His voice is different than ours. So he grabs you right off the bat. And I'm like, you know what? I want him first. And it kind of goes in the age pattern because H2 is younger than Smooth. Smooth is younger than me. So we used to do age pattern type stuff. We actually got a song called No Lights on the EP where we actually do our age. Well, it wasn't really an age, it was an age story. And I was in the middle on that one because I wanted to be a 10-year-old. I took back to my 10-year-old childhood type stuff. And, but, we try to separate it by so many years because we are actually separated by a few years. I think H2 was like 3 or 4 years younger than Smooth. Smooth was a freshman when I was a junior. So we all kind of intertwined like that. It's like we understand each other, but we got a little bit of a age gap between us. So I'll let you get to that track, man. But yeah, that's kind of the reason behind it.
Well, that is a great song, as I said earlier, and we're going to get to that in just a second, but I think we're about out of time, so thank you so much, Nsane, for being on the show. We would love to have you back again sometime if you have anything to plug for us.
Okay, and, I'd love to bring on some more, if you don't mind, I'd love to bring on some more of my fan, my guys, from my little brother, Simba James, to Street Fame, Flatliner, anybody that I've ever dealt with, and even some artists that I'm getting ready to deal with or dealing with now. You know, I actually got some things in the works. I've been working with some Brooklyn Zoo artists. I will say that I've done some ghostwriting, but I won't tell you the artist because that defeats the purpose of ghostwriting. But yeah, we'll get into all that. Me and you'll have a conversation off the record on some of this stuff.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I always take recommendations from all my guests, so go ahead and send if you like. And
right.
let's get right to the song Appetite of Destruction right here on Paul Mash TV, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Look, nigga, you fool. You don't wanna see me with these goons. You niggas pussy like the Moulin Rouge. Look, nigga, you fool. You don't wanna get it chopped and screwed. Show you real meaning of Pro Tools. Look, nigga, you fool. So don't let these bitches gas you, fool. Get your pump done, let it with fuel. Look, nigga, you fool. And don't ever come and try me, dude. They get you 8 like 4 times 2. Look, nigga, you
try and take my recipe and I promise you lose your honor. When it come to H, you're playing games with 2 Unabombers. I'm throwing my flamethrowers. That hoes to be wanting drama. 10 toes, always I'ma be with weaponry and armor. So make my day, cause no day soon will H to me this father. I'm breaking through bad karma. My flow is like mad karma. What goes around comes around, and what doesn't comes back to haunt you. I'm coming straight for you. You feel a demon upon you. You're a slowest of opponents. There's nothing to creep up on you. It beats you stolen slowly, so call motorist slowly. Unidentified fly object just got it out for me, and it happened so fast that I ain't even see. Homie, many bones broken on me. Don't know if he was alone. He can feel my brain out the side of my skull, and it's leaking slowly. It's mushy like macaroni. My body's like Stromboli, about to be chopped and eaten by one of the one and only.
Nigga, you fool. You don't wanna see me with these goons. You niggas pussy like the Moulin Rouge. Look, nigga, you fool. You don't wanna get it chopped and screwed. Show you real meaning of Pro Tools. Look, nigga, you fool. So don't let these bitches gas you, fool. Get your pump done, let it with fuel. Look, nigga, you fool. And don't ever come and try me, dude. They get you 8 like 4 times 2. Look, nigga, you fool.
Yeah, fuck nigga, you fool. Something like enemy. Y'all haters envy me cause y'all hoes into me. Got the streets feeling me, so the hood digging me. If a nigga mention beef, you better not mention me. I don't fuck with y'all, we ain't friends, you ain't kin to me. If you got it in for me, consider you an enemy. Real talk, homie, y'all lames ain't lasting. I'm laughing in your absence cause y'all suckers bastard. This is vital info, you remain no more. Niggas know that fucking with the fame is a no-no. We can rock a show though, real talk for show though. Cause we're so out of here and y'all just so-so. Nigga, I'm incredible, competition is edible. Got a problem, let me know, otherwise let it go. I'll put you down for the crown, I ain't letting go. Ask who the best around the town, they'll let you know.
Fool. You don't wanna see me with these goons. You niggas pussy like the Moulin Rouge. Look, nigga, you fool. You don't wanna get it chopped and screwed. Show you real meaning of Pro Tools. Look, nigga, you fool. So don't let these bitches gas you, fool. Get your pump done, let it with fuel. Look, nigga, you fool. And don't ever come and try me, dude. They get you 8 like 4 times 2. Look, nigga, you fool. Get hit with the fifth. It's a rap like a gift off the hip. Let it rip out the blue like a grip. Frame was frozen stiff. Jakes had to follow drips. Police niggas giving tips. Banana clips make them slip. Trigger finger had an itch. Face split like a split. Face to face slip off his big forklift. Woman brace hollow tips. That blood I had to sip. Your face I had to rip. Ice picks, vice grips. New assholes had to rip. Not on that faggot tip. Bad blood fanatic shit. Birdies razors got flip. Cut like a movie script. All work I had to flip. Stretched out bellies ripped. Bodies on a field trip. But it was that alley shit. Shadow Death Valley shit. Toss after the Cali spits. Mark for their tally shit. Vital signs, nerves twitch. No stitch for the snitch. Stocks on his grave shit. Rest in peace. Dismiss. You don't wanna see me with these goons. You niggas pussy like the Moulin Rouge. Look, nigga, you fool. You don't wanna get it chopped and screwed. Show you real meaning of Pro Tools. Look, nigga, you fool. So don't let these bitches gas you, fool. Get your pump done, let it with fuel. Look, nigga, you fool. And don't ever come and try me, dude. They get you 8 like 4 times 2. Look, nigga, you fool.